Oregon Living Television is now at the Creswell Area Historical Society and Museum, and I'm visiting with Jacqueline Davis. She is the current president and has been a volunteer on the board here for 4 years. Jacqueline, I want to recognize you as a longtime history and Spanish teacher for high school students, and now as a volunteer researcher and genealogist. You are here in Creswell at this fabulous museum. Tell me some of the things that really stand out to you.
Oh, the thing that always stands out to me is the work we're doing with research on the trails. I'm terribly interested in the Applegate Trail and the fact that it passed right through here. Also, the DLC claims are very fascinating because they tell us so much about the early pioneers.
Now, DLC, tell us about that term because it's very interesting.
That refers to the donation land claims, the land that was given to the pioneers when they first arrived by the government. And it was a 320 acre plot that they were allowed to settle on. And so every part of this entire area around Creswell has belonged to a DLC. And so when you do the research on the background of the land, that's what you find. The early pioneer who was actually on your land.
And so the early pioneers, there were 62 of them or more that you researched out who had claims in 320 acre sizes around Creswell. And these folks got together and donated 5 acre parcels. 2 gentlemen donated the 5 acre parcels, and that became Creswell in 1872 from 2 donated land grants.
That's correct. Yes, and these 2 men were early settlers here, and they wanted to establish a town. And of course the railroad was coming through, and it happened to pass through Creswell, which was very good for them because of course that just made the town grow faster.
Oh, and this town is continuing to grow today. It's a darling community. I want to encourage my viewers to stop in. The Darling Museum is in the Methodist Church here on the corner of 5th Street and East Oregon Avenue. Let's talk about the exhibits that you have here, because the first one is showing an early pioneer in the winter time, and to think about the conditions that they had to travel in the wagons and carrying all of their possessions, and yet they had the same difficulties that we have today. Children, teaching them, child care, and you are incorporating the history of these early pioneers to hands-on activities for our kids today. Tell me about that.
Well, we have one in particular that's going to be especially interesting. We have a gentleman outside of town who carves wagons, and he's going to carve a tabletop wagon for us. It'll be finished in June, and so the children will be able to come in and pack the wagon as though they were pioneers and unpack it and so forth.
Right, and because it's hands-on and because you have so many great exhibits, you really get the feel of what it was like to be a pioneer crossing in those old days. Coming across the Applegate Trail, which you mentioned.
The Applegate Trail. And that was the actual one that was very difficult for them to cross and get through. The first one is the one that we had come through here, and it was in 1846.
So you think about it, the government gives you 320 acres, and you think, wow, and now you come all the way across from wherever you came from, across to the United States, and now you're here in Oregon, 320 acres, but there's not a house or a store or electricity or anything, so they started with just what they had in the wagon.
That's just about it, and the first area that was settled was east of here in Cloverdale. And they settled that area first, and then eventually they moved over here in a different area, and it seemed that Creswell was the area that moved forward, mainly because the railroad came through here eventually.
So Creswell is still very active today, and you guys have a great big celebration that my family loves to attend, and we've attended every single one since I've moved here. and it's the 4th of July celebration. This place is so fun to come to. I encourage you, if you have an inkling to know a little bit about the history of Oregon and certainly of Creswell, Jacqueline Davis is the lady to see, and she and her board members, which keep this museum looking so amazing, need your support. They are accepting donations for your renovation. And how does that work, Jacqueline? What do you need?
We need extra things for the outside. They have just discovered they should have certain parts of the landing. They want to have it fixed with wood around it and so forth. And so every time they think of something new that could add to the refurbished look and how nice it's going to be, every time they think of something new, then of course that's a little extra money here and there. And so there's always something going on because the board can think of lots of things.
I bet you guys have so much fun dreaming up this neat stuff. But this is what we love to do, is to play tourist right here in our own great state of Oregon. Creswell is a top place to visit. And if you want to also donate for the kids' hands-on exhibits, you're gonna have some pioneer clothes here that the kids can put on and dress up as they go through. So it really connects them with the history. And Jacqueline, you have done a fabulous job of educating me and my crew, and we're so happy that Oregon Living Television came here to visit, and we will be back to chart your progress so our viewers at home can see this great renovation.
We hope to have so much more to show you by that time.
Okay, thank you for your time today, and now stay tuned for more right here on Oregon Living Television.